We really wanted to show a landscape of fashion in Crazy Rich Asians.
Each dress is amazing in its own right. Each dress is like an artwork because there can only be one in a couture dress. Whoever gets it is the only person on that entire continent with that dress.
When it changes an actor's being and they become that person, I love an outfit that does that.
We're such a good-looking cast, and they just look great in everything they put on.
You have a cocktail dress in your trunk?
I'm not an animal, Rachel.
Because the fashion was going to be very important, I tried to find people to work with me who had a fashion background.
Singapore is a melting pot of all these different cultures. We wanted to reflect that, of course, in the clothing, and we got some local designers specifically. That was very important for us to build a creative team that understood the local culture.
One of the editors in Asia, she came aboard as, really like assistant costume designer. And she was a great resource because she knew a lot of local people who wanted to get their clothes in the movie.
These pajamas are fancier than any of my real clothes.
But Kevin was a vital part of this team. He offered up jewelry connections, fashion connections. He was our greatest well of resources.
Golden koi fish, Hong Kong furniture, a rare Cambodian gold.
I helped connect her to jewelers and people I knew, like Michelle Ong from Hong Kong, who has the amazing Carnet jewelry collection. Whatever I could do to help bridge the gap, I tried to.
Oh my God, your Gap look. Brilliant. Thanks.
The night of the Tanhua party, Rachel has to wear a dress that both fits in, but doesn't take over the star power of the wedding dress.
Tonight, you need to not look like Sebastian of The Little Mermaid. You know, the little crab guy.
The Missoni dress that we saw Rachel wear in that first scene when she goes to meet Ama is another one of these really iconic looks. It's Missoni, it's multicolored, it's got gold thread.
You're the talk of the party. People like your dress.
Oh, I did that.
It was really chosen for Constance because it has the low V, which looks really good on her. It's sleeveless, another good thing on her. And it has these long vertical lines, which makes her look really tall.
It did have a Gatsby-esque feel to it, similar to what we were sort of doing with Nick, with his all-white suit. It had to go along with that.
I thought it looked so great on her. You know, it's sort of got these Grecian goddess lines. It's colorful, it's blingy without being vulgar, and it was the perfect festive way to sort of debut herself to the family.
Who is that?
The dress that Rachel wears to the wedding is a dress by Marchesa.
We wanted a pale blue dress and something light and airy and dreamy. And Constance actually gave me this picture. She said, oh, look at this. Here's a light blue dreamy dress. And it was from Marchesa in Los Angeles.
For me, that blue, there was such a sense memory because it just brought me back to Cinderella.
We had to take the sleeves off and shorten like 2 feet out of it and just sort of like scale the dress down for her because she's very delicate and she looks better without sleeves because you want to see the actor.
It's remarkable how important this dress has become. The fact that it's into the Smithsonian, the fact that at so many of my book readings, when I do book events, invariably there'll be a little girl that shows up with a book to sign and she'll be dressed up in that dress.
Love it.
When I told Mary that we're gonna have a wedding, and the thing about the wedding is we're going to have water. And so whatever wedding dress she was thinking in her head, I love this idea of the bride walking barefoot in the water.
I designed the dress, but we had Carvin Ong, who is a local Kuala Lumpur couturier. He made the pattern, he made the dress. And he had a workshop of like 30 professional beaders, and they did all the beading.
Every couture dress takes months and months to make.
I got material, and I kept putting the different materials in water to see if it would change color. And so I found some fabric that even when it was soaking wet, the silk didn't go dark. And then I lined it with a netting that was very stiff that you could put it underwater and it wouldn't collapse.
It was open in the middle, and you could see the leggings. So you're gonna see Arminta's beautiful legs and her feet to walk into the water.
There's so many hands on it. There's the lace makers, there's the embroiderers, there's the people that make the sequins. So there's so much artistry that goes into one dress. We needed something that was Hollywood, something that was a showstopper. It's romantic, it's decadent, it's blinged out, it's Crazy Rich Asians. For me, Eleanor looked great in every single scene. There is a dignity, there's authority, and there is really an elegance that I think comes through. And in that wedding dress that we see by Vietsub, I mean, she kind of stole the show in a way. The different layers of transparency and opaqueness, and then the beading and the colors that just sort of wove together in such a beautiful, beautiful way. The way they accessorized it, they gave her this amazing brooch with canary diamonds designed by Michelle Ong.
That was like a $2 million brooch.
Another dress I really loved was the black and white pinstriped pantsuit that she wore in the now iconic Mahjong showdown scene.
At that point, John wanted Michelle Yeoh's character to be a little more Western businesswoman and Rachel's character to be a little softer and being a little more Asian. And so we put Michelle in this like Giorgio Armani business suit.
That to me is just the epitome of Giorgio Armani and what he does best, create these amazing power suits for women.
And then Rachel is in this dress that really looks a lot like an ancient Chinese vase.
If you look at the key embroidery on that Karen Millen dress, it's these cherry blossoms. So it's almost like she's blossoming right before your eyes. It's ornamental, and yet it makes such a power statement, especially the sort of off-the-shoulder cutouts. It's the great thing about having an amazing costume designer like Mary. She can really adapt the clothes to make them look great on each character.
Ralph and Russo, which is like one of the biggest designers and really hard to get clothes from, they were very generous.
I have been waiting to do this properly for so long.
And then Ralph Lauren was very generous. Well, we get these boxes of every single dress I asked for. And a lot of those dresses were used in the montage scene.
Holding you up. It's a hands-on dress, you know what I mean? I just want to say that Peik Lin right now, so me, is wearing Stella McCartney dog pajamas. They're silky, and they cost more than anything I've ever worn because I shop at H&M.
Very simple little Stella McCartney pajamas. But on her, they're great.
When someone like Awkwafina, Nora, gets into an outfit, when she puts on that wig and she puts on those PJs with the dogs on it, like, it changed who she was, and it made us see the movie completely.
How much?
1.2 million.
Definitely wanted, when people watch the movie, to say, where did you get that? I want to get that.
Eleanor's jewelry was next level, and a lot of it is Michelle Yeoh's personal collection.
The tricky part of that is then you have only one. You don't have a backup, you can't lose it, and it's one of your main actors' real life property.
That emerald ring that becomes so pivotal in the story was hers.
We had this beautiful one designed, but it's hard to make fake jewelry because anyone who looks at it could call BS on it very quickly. Which is what Michelle Yeoh did when she saw it. She's like, I have a piece of jewelry that's better than this one. And it blew our minds. It was that one. There was no turning back. Once you saw it, we couldn't unsee it. So we did make duplicates, but we always used the real one.
That's a beautiful ring, Auntie Eleanor.
There's a scene with Michael and Astrid where she gives him a watch, and it's supposed to be the most expensive watch. And we found one that was like $250,000. We're like, wow.
He had shown me the watch that he felt that would be the present that Astrid would present to Michael. And I looked at it in pictures and I said, she would never give him this watch.
I hear that, I just don't know what to do. And he's like, I've got friends.
She would want to give him one of the most coveted watches in the world, which is the Rolex Paul Newman Panda Daytona.
He got one of his friends to send over, I believe it's $1 million watch, had a bodyguard, got it in that morning.
I think it was that authenticity that really was important.
How do I look?
To me, it was really kind of special to see how John went the extra mile, to pay attention to every design detail. I was really quite surprised and so impressed.
Thanks for dressing up, Vernon. Hey, it's not about me.
Mary, our costume designer, was the perfect person for this job. There's no one else who could have created a team, a local team, an international team, to pull in stuff from Europe to Asia to America, but at the same time, bring in local designers to work together to create a story like this in a pace and manner that they're probably not used to in the fashion industry.
But wearing a lucky color will make a good first impression.
So I just got really lucky. And to have such a great cast and such a great director and Kevin and all my local designers, it would be very hard to recreate that. I think it was really like a moment in time.
It was beyond my wildest dreams, beyond all my expectation, to see it all come together. The fashion, the jewelry, the accessories, the sets, and, you know, most importantly, the actors, how they embodied each character. The movie has now become so iconic for its fashion.
We were all self-conscious about what we had to do. Impress people, but also tell our story, also have a responsibility for cultural representation.
It all worked so beautifully, and they looked so amazingly stylish doing it, didn't they?